ask how you guys are all doing today. How's it going?
Good.
Good. Don't be a quiet room for me now.
Okay.
Give me some chatter. How you doing, Miss Kay? I hadn't talked to you in a while.
I know I need to catch up with you, but and I will eventually, but I don't even have the Docusign downloaded or anything yet because I've got a bunch of old accounts and I've got to figure out what to do to get it straight, but I'll get it done.
I can help you out with that. All right, good deal. So today what we're going to be discussing is using Zipforms in conjunction with Docusign Rooms, which is provided to us by KW. Zipforms, at least in North Carolina, is provided to us by the National Association of Realtors and our membership with them. So if you are not familiar with Zipforms, to get there, you go to zipformplus.com. Again, that is zipform, no S, plus.com. And if you have never set up an account, like you see that I have an account here, you are going to go ahead and sign in with your NAR Realtor ID or your NERDS number, as we lovingly call it here in North Carolina. So you will sign in with your NERDS number and you can get in through there and create an account. Now, for the purposes of this class, we're going to assume that you have that account set up. If you do not, please do not hesitate to ask me at the end and we can walk through how to do that. Okay, everybody good there?
It's plus, right?
Zipformplus.com.
Okay, got it. I just want to make sure it was plus.
Yep. We good?
Okay. Good.
Awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and sign into Zipforms. And this is what your platform looks like. Now, for anybody who's been in the business for, several years, you may be familiar with Zipforms. This is actually what I used to use at my previous brokerage to facilitate all my transactions, both of my previous brokerages, in fact. So if you used it before, great, then you'll be familiar with this section, right? Now, the one bad part about this is your seller disclosures. A lot of people get seller disclosures done in person, and that is perfectly acceptable and sometimes advised, depending on who our sellers are, right? But if you wanted to get them e-signed and have your signature have the ability to do that, this will not template those in that way. If you come straight from here to regular Docusign, you would have to drag and drop all the boxes, and nobody wants to do that because that takes forever. So that being said, we are going to look at setting up templates. I know that everybody has wanted their templates that was familiar with Dotloop. Docusign is answering that with an update that is coming in December. It's going to give us what we knew as templates in Dotloop. December 15th is when that update is coming. For now, if you would like to have, your listing agreements templated and all of those other things, then you can come in here and set up templates, right? So I'm going to go ahead and click on templates. So you'll see in Zipforms, we have lots of tabs, right, that we can go to. I'm going to go ahead and click on templates. Everybody good right now? Any questions? Okay. So I already have my 2020 buyer package and my 2020 listing package, but I will just go ahead and show you how to create a template so that you're aware. I've already done a test listing package. I'll show you a buyer. So we're going to create new with this button here in the upper left corner. And we're going to say this is a new purchase or offer template. Okay. And this is going to be 1015 class buyer template. Okay. I'm making mine for a residential property. Now, this could be, if you do a lot of vacant land, if you do a lot of new construction, a lot of foreclosures, and all of your forms are set up differently, you can make as many templates as you want. So if you have a standard that you do for your commission and everything for residential resale, then you can set up a buyer template for residential resale. You can set one up for new construction differently if that works for you. Totally up to you. I'm going to use the standard residential setup for myself, and I'm going to click save. So this is going to open up my ability to build out this template that I've named right here. Okay. You'll see there are no documents to display at the moment because I've not added any documents. So now I'm going to come over to the right-hand side and click the blue button that says All Forms. And I'm going to look for 260, which is the working with real estate agents. Drop that in. And then I'm going to look up, I think it's 201. Am I wrong there? Buyer agency agreement. There we go. I'm going to add that. And I'm also going to add in my professional services disclosure. And that is the commercial. I want the residential. So there we go. And I think for me, I just need to add in the offer to purchase, which is our 2-T. And that's really all I need for most buyer transactions, right? So I may eventually have to put a FHA addendum or something like that, but I just want to keep this simple for the purposes of today. Does anybody have a question on how I did that so far? Everybody
I
good?
just have one question. Are there specific KW Elite forms that also we're going to be needing
We
to?
won't do those from Zipforms. In
Okay.
Zipforms, all we're going to be pulling over are things that we want to template out.
Got it.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my working with real estate agents. Again, I'm in my template. This is a template that I'm going to use and apply to multiple transactions, right? So I'm just going to scroll down. We all know there's nothing on page 1 and 2 that we actually have to complete. And I'm going to go ahead and fill in my, you'll see that I kind of auto-populate because I've already done a lot of this before. I'm not going to add the date because I don't know what date this is. Again, this is a template that's going to get used multiple times. So any property related information or any date specific information, we will not be adding that to our templates. So again, I don't know my buyer's names yet, but I do know my company name, my name, and my license number. So that portion of my template is complete. I can click the green back arrow at the top left and move on to my buyer agency agreement. Again, we won't know the date, we won't know the buyer, but we will know the firm name where we work. So we can fill that in. Again, this is for my residential transaction, so I can actually go ahead and do my X here. And general location, I know where I work in Forsyth County. Davidson, Davie, and Stokes, pretty much all I cover. If I needed to do something else, I could do that later, but I usually don't go outside of those anyway. I don't know when my agreement will begin. I do know that I don't do a retainer fee ever, so I can pop in. I have to hit the space bar and then the 0. In Zipforms, that is one way you can bypass what that field is intended for. I don't ever use a retainer fee, so I don't need it. Now, there are Greensboro agents in this class, and there are Winston-Salem agents in this class. Greensboro, I am not sure of what your broker in charge expects, what Kimberly expects for you to put in this. Buyer agrees to that firm's fee will be this. However, in Winston-Salem, I know that Stephen wants this to be as specific as possible. So the way that I personally set my templates up is 3% of purchase for resale. And I do 2.5% of purchase for new construction. And like I said, if you wanted to set up several templates for, you know, new construction, vacant land, whatever, then you can. 5%, ooh, 50% would be nice. 5% resale for vacant land. that is how I choose to set mine up to cover me for all bases. I'm going to actually highlight this and copy it, because when I move on down my form here, I am I'm a 45 dayer here. So I'm going to put 45 days. If they want to wait more than a month and a half to buy a house that I showed them, then good luck to them on that. I'm going to go ahead and check all these boxes because I always give my clients their samples. That way I don't have to check them, right? I don't do anything with home warranties. Again, space bar, that's what turned the box green, and 0. I don't know if I will have any additional provisions. I'm just going to slide on down. Now, what I copied from above, I'm going to actually paste it here and then just go back through and double this, because this would be if our firm was representing. Right? 10. There we go. And so you get the point. Anything that you're going to fill in every single time, your firm's license number, right? Your firm's phone number, your name, your email, right? We get the point. Just say, we get the point, Monica.
Got it.
All right. So that's how we set up our templates, right? And then that form's done. So I'm going to click the back button. Same thing on your professional services disclosure. If you fill that out the same way every time, and you always order the home inspection, the radon inspection, and this inspection, and your client's the one that orders their home insurance, and the lender's the one that orders the appraisal, then you can fill all those in to use over and over and over again, right? If you use like a certain set of service providers in tandem with one another, and then the next time you move on to a different set, whatever, you can set your professional services disclosure up as you would like. Same thing with our offer to purchase, right? So this is one of the forms that we were having issues with in Docusign, holding on to earnest money, holding on to the escrow agent's name, right? We definitely saw that happening. So I'm actually going to fill a lot of this out so that you can see. I know Kara's on here, and we've had discussions about that not saving. I go ahead and fill these out, or not in this form, I'm sorry, but when I do the offer to purchase, which we're going to do in the next step. So this is my offer to purchase template. I'm going to make sure that all of my stuff is at the end, but I already have that set up. So you guys get the point. Now your template is set up. Now I'm going to go back to my main dashboard. Okay. So now we have a client and we're ready to make an offer, and we are going to use Zipforms and Docusign Rooms and Command, because that's where we need to turn it in, correct? So one of the steps that you're going to have to take is to make sure that Zipforms is connected to Docusign. And I'll show you how to do that here in just a second. But I'm going to go ahead and say that my clients are ready to buy a property. So I've already created a transaction for them, right? I can put the property address and all those kind of things in here. I can actually add my parties as well. I can click on buyer 1, and I think this was my dogs, if I'm not mistaken. So Dakota, and I can give him his email. You know, whatever you want to fill in for your clients, you can do so here, right? Let me move my Zoom bar out of my way. All right, so you can fill all that in, and it will help along the way. So now when I come over to my documents, I will apply a template, right? So it's right here in the middle. So again, I'm on my Documents tab, and I'm going to apply my template, which is my 2020 buyer package, and click Apply. And just remember, just like with Dotloop, every year when our forms switch over, we are going to create new templates with our new forms, right? And so once I click Apply, it's going to push all of the forms in that I have templated out for my buyer client. And now I'm going to open up my offer. Again, this is the form we were having issues with. I did get an email this morning that Docusign fixed the form, and the two places that I have found were that initial earnest money is not saving unless you put it in the details tab, and on the buyer agency agreement, the expiration of your buyer agency agreement is not saving. So I've already turned that back into them. Everything else was working. So they're almost there, but that's okay. I digress. We're still going to use Zipforms. So in this case, I know that my seller is Mary Perry. I'm just going to fill this in just like I would any other form, right? I'm not going to go all the way through, but I just want to give you guys an idea. We'll say the purchase price, and I'll show you those pesky fields that weren't saving will now, will now save. I think additional earnest money was one, so I just want to show everybody that that will save too. So my math is done. It's down here at the bottom. This also was not saving. So I'm going to go ahead and fill that in. I'll say due diligence goes to then, and settlement's going to be on November 16th. Go ahead and fill a couple of things in. Of course, don't leave blanks. I'm just leaving blanks for the purpose of this so that I am, so I can show you, right? And I'll say they've owned it for a year. Just fill a few things in. Does anybody have any questions thus far? We created a template. We created a transaction and applied our template. And now we are filling in our forms, right? Everybody good?
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. And then last but not least, listing firm. I will pick on Kay because I love her. Kay is the listing agent. This was one of the other things that, we would actually be dual agency because we're at the same firm. These were some of the fields also that were not saving. So I'll go ahead and fill that in for the purposes of you guys and the video to show you guys that this does alleviate that issue. And we'll just leave it at that. Oh, this is supposed to be a listing firm. It's my bad. Put that in there. This is Keller Williams Realty Elite. All right, good deal. So now I'm going to click back on this one. So I've got my offer ready to go. Awesome. I'm going to go ahead and open a new incognito window and go into command because I do want my Docusign room to be attached to my command opportunity, right? We want to make sure that we have that link. Now, just so you guys know, once that link is made, you can go to realestate.docusign.com to access that file. You don't have to go through command the next time. It's just the first time you want to make sure to establish that link, right? So I'm going to come down to my opportunities. And I'm going to create one. Oh, I think I'm on my team pipeline. Need to go to me. There we go. I'm pretty sure that I created this opportunity today. I'm going to go ahead and assume that you all know how that we create an opportunity. If not, feel free to join us for launch week on the 26th is when we begin. So here's my opportunity that I've already created. I'm going to go to my documents. I already chose my residential checklist, Winston-Salem, Greensboro. Y'all's checklists are set up a different way. You don't have multiples there. So you guys would just pick the checklist that you usually pick. Okay. And then I clicked start a transaction, which took me to Docusign. Yay. Now I'm going to log in to Docusign. All right. So now I'm actually going to delete these so that you guys can see me pull them in. So now, just like normal, I do want to come over to my details tab, right? And I want to click my edit button and at least put in the people that I have that are important to the transaction for me, myself, and my buyers, right? And me as the buying agent. And I think I actually, in my example, I made Kay the listing agent. So we'll go ahead and do that here. Good deal. And save. So now, does anybody have any questions thus far? How are you feeling? All the steps made sense, right? We went to Zipforms, we started our documents, wrote the text in to our agency agreement, working with real estate agents, offer to purchase, and we could have also done the professional services, but in the interest of time, I didn't want to go that far because I also want to show you seller docs, okay? And then we came, go ahead.
I just missed when you linked it. Excuse me, I missed what you checked on when you linked the zip to Docusign.
I haven't shown you that part yet.
Oh,
yeah. So all I did was go to Zipforms first and start my transaction, right? And then I came into Command to connect it to Docusign, right? So now if you have never made the connection before, when you go to documents and you go to add zip form, it's going to ask you to make that connection and log into your Zipform account. Okay.
Okay.
Mine is already set up, so it's not going to give us that window. But if you need help with any of those connections, I'm happy to help you with that individually. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So my Zipform is already connected and I've already created my transaction in Zipforms. So when it's asking me to add my files from Zipforms, I'm going to select the file location from a linked transaction. Okay.
Linked. Okay.
And then I'm going to find my linked transaction, which was this one. It's always a great idea to name your Zipforms transaction the same thing as your command transaction, because that way it's easier to make the connection, right, and find it. So I'll show you what it looks like. I'm going to go ahead and remove that link. Okay. So if I go to add from Zipform, then I've already named this the same thing as I named my command. I'm going to pick that one and make the link. I've successfully linked my Zipform transaction. So now where am I pulling them from? I'm pulling the documents from the linked transaction. And I want to pull in my buyer agency, my offer, my professional services, and my working with real estate agents. Okay. They're going to fill up the room just like our Docusign Forms did. But now you will see in the lower right corner of our preview here, it says ZFX, which is our Zipforms format. Okay. So all of these were pulled in from Zipforms. And you'll see if I open one, it's going to look very much like Zipforms. Okay. Now here's the deal. I want to make sure that I make this clear. If you use Docusign Rooms on your cell phone through the website, when you go to your cell phone, you have to have Zipforms mobile in order to open these on your phone. And I'm sorry, my kids are doing schoolwork right now, so my computer's going really slow all of a sudden, of course. We'll let that load up. Let's see. It's just being not my friend right now, of course, since I'm recording this video, would do that to me. That's all right. We'll work through it, technology. We'll work through it. Let me try that one more time. These just opened earlier. I think it's just going to take it some time. So anyway, I did try it out earlier because I was talking to somebody about being able to do this on their phone. If you're going to do this on your phone, I recommend bypassing this. Don't use Zipforms, right? You can go, while this is hopefully loading, I'm going to stop share and pop in from my phone so that you guys can see what I mean. So I'm going to make sure I cover all of our bases today while we're here. I'm going to go to KW Triad Tech Zoom.com from my phone because I wanted to show you guys I'm going to not join our audio there and share my phone screen with you. If you're going to go on your phone to do Docusign, start it in Command first while you're at your desk somewhere, right, or on your laptop somewhere so that the connection is made. And then do not use the Docusign app, right? Do not use the Docusign app. You're going to go to realestate.docusign.com on your phone. realestate.docusign.com. Docusign has two different platforms, Rooms, which is what we use, and e-signature, which we also have access to, but is not the same thing as Rooms, okay? So I go to realestate.docusign.com on my phone. You'll see it looks just like it does on your computer, and you can log in to it from your phone. And there's all the stuff that you were just seeing from my computer screen, right? So there's my test only, and I'll show you what happens if I try to open the zip form document. It is going to tell me, maybe, I think my internet's just chosen to completely stop working on me. Oh, a valid and current zip form mobile subscription is required to use the software on a mobile device. So you're welcome to do that, but I really don't see the need to. All right, I'm going to leave from my phone now and pop back into where we were. Hopefully, I'll share my screen. There we go. And I don't know why these forms still don't want to open for me. It's just that day. Apparently, I'll try to open this one. Maybe this one will give me a break and maybe not. Oh, let me try one thing here, actually. Because I am it's because I was in the incognito window. That's what it was, I think. Here we go. If you're ever working in incognito, by the way, and you see something not working, check up in your address bar, that little eyeball right there. If it has a strike through, then you might have to, KTXCH, you might have to click that to make it work. There we go. There we go. So now, just like our zip forms, we can open these up, right? And we can say, no per buyer, that home inspections were home team. You can see where I have my templated stuff in there, but I don't always know who I'm going to be using, right? My closing attorney is Randall Perry Law LLC. So you can fill these in from Docusign. If you missed something, if you forgot something, it's just it looks different because it is now a zip form instead of, right, the Docusign forms. Okay, everybody see that? Does anybody have any questions on it? I want to make sure that you guys feel comfortable because this does give you your templates, right? I'm going to click my save button right here. Don't forget to click your save button like I almost did. And then I'm going to go back into my room. So now I've finished my professional services disclosure. Okay. And so now, just like we would normally do, I'm going to take my forms, select them all, click my Docusign pen, create my envelope. Always rename this, right? I'm going to add my recipients from pre-tagged roles. Who is buyer 1? It was Dakota. Who is buyer 2? That was Sasha. Who is the agent on the professional services disclosure? That was me. Who else am I missing? Should have buyer agent, selling agent. For the buyer agency agreement is also myself. Right? Add selected. Type in I's email. So excited that you guys are getting to make this offer. Down here in the bottom, click my next button. Let that move forward into our envelope. And there we go. All of our stuff's in there, all of our text. Everybody's got their signatures, right? Toggle through, toggle through. My offer. And there are all my fields. It did not delete anything because we did it in Zipforms, right? Yay. Everybody good. I know it seems like a lot when I'm talking to you about it. Once you've done it a couple of times, I had to teach myself how to do it because I hadn't really done this. Once I did it a few times, I was like, okay, you know, this makes sense. For anybody who's been in the business, this is what we used to do. We used to go into Zipforms, get our forms, fill out our forms, text, and then we pulled them over into Docusign, and you're essentially doing the same thing here, right? It's just that you're getting to use Docusign rooms. Good? Really quiet?
Real good.
Okay. All right. And like, don't forget, I wanted to tell, okay, I need to tell you this. Disclosure, Greensboro office. Do not forget that you're supposed to have your client's initial the top of your pages of the working with real estate agents. Winston-Salem office, you are not doing that right now. Oh, not signature, initial. But Greensboro office, for the purposes of the video and anything else, don't forget, drop those initials on the tops of these pages. There we go. Good deal. And I'm going to go ahead and delete these because I am not acting in seller sub-agency. These are my buyer clients. So just check your forms, right? You want to make sure that your stuff is populating. It did not pull over their initials, so I'm going to pull them over, resize them. There we go. I think I must have forgotten to assign the sellers on the buyers on this. That was my bad. But when you make mistakes like that, you can just drag their initials in and then drag their signatures over. I forgot to select them on the previous page. So everybody feel good. We got our templates. We don't have anything getting deleted. We can still get our signatures done the same way. And that's your buyer forms. Everybody's good for me to move to seller forms. Yep.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So same thing, templates. I'm not going to spend as much time here. This is my listing package. I'm going to go into my real one because it's more full, actually. Or we can go back to listening to Journey, which I would love to do, but we're not going to do that right now. I'm going to go into Zipforms again because I logged myself out. Go back to my templates. Here's my 2020 listing package. Now, on this one, you can pull in mineral oil and gas in your disclosures, okay? I wanted to show you guys this. However, like I said at the beginning of the class, these are not, I'd practice on it to make sure that I was telling you guys the absolute best way. Any of these are not auto-populating the seller's ability to make selections when you send it for signatures through Docusign. If you're going to print these out and get these signed in person, fill them out, print them out, get them signed, that's fine. If you want them signed through Docusign, do not add them from Zipforms, okay? So there's my exclusive right to sell. I'll just show you quickly, again, how my template is set up. Only the things that are always going to be true are filled in, right? Including my information at the end. I know that stuff's not going to change, so I have it in my template. And so now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go to transactions. I'm going to create a new transaction. I'm going to take you through this one from the top. This is for a new listing. I'm going to name this 600 quarter shaft. And I'm going to do test only so that the MCAs don't kill me thinking I'm trying to turn stuff in. 10, 15, 20, 20. There we go. So there's my listing that I started in Zipforms. Maybe I can type. There we go. Residential. I'm going to pull from my template, my 2020 listing package, and click save. It's going to pull my stuff. I can fill in as much as or as little as I want here. For the sake of time, I'm just going to go into my documents. These are the ones that brought over. I'm going to go ahead and open up this. Make sure that my stuff is filled in. There's my stuff. I can go ahead and date it because we're doing this today. I can go ahead and put Dakota and Sasha in as my sellers. Good deal. That's all I need on that one. Same thing with my listing agreement. I can go ahead and fill in all of my pertinent information here. If you do add your people in to that details tab, I just don't want to take the time to do it right now. You will see a drop down that gives you the ability to pick them if you add them as seller 1 and 2. I just want to show you guys quickly how we're doing this. I think you guys understand how to fill in a form. You know, we're just going to go through and fill the whole thing out. Cool deal? Whew. This room's quiet. Y'all are making me sweat. It's making me nervous. All right. So we're going to pretend like we got those all filled in. Same deal. We're going to go into command. And this time I'm actually going to create my opportunity. I'm going to make it as a listing. I'm going to pick my clients. They're already in my database because I know them because I'm friends with them. that is not Abby. There we go. Sasha. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and rename this. Test only. 10, 15, same thing that I named it, right? Your name won't be as intricate, I hope. It can just be the address or something. I'm going to fill in my stuff. 3%. It's my side, right? My side of the commission. It's active and we're getting it ready to go. So staging works for me. I'm going to create my opportunity. Click on my documents tab and pick that as a residential listing. It's all the stuff I need to get signed and need to get done. Upper right corner, I'm going to start my transaction in Docusign. And I'm going to show you guys what I mean about the form so you'll know why. I'm a why person. I like to know the why behind stuff. So you'll see the command brought seller 1 Dakota and his email, seller 2 Sasha, her email, me as the listing agent. I can't help myself. I have a detail gene, so I do need to go in and fill this out for myself. $27103. Cool deal. Right. It's always great to go ahead and put your details in to your stuff. Good. And I'm going to click save there. So I did my details, come to my documents like we normally do, but I'm going to add from Zipform. I'm going to link it. Listing. Link. Successful. Where am I going to get my forms? From my linked transaction. Those are all the forms that I did. I'm going to take my right to sell. I'm going to take my working with real estate agents and add them. So same deal. If I forgot something, or if you didn't want to fill them out over there in Zipforms, you can fill them out here. It's going to open up the form. It's just going to look a little bit different than when it's a Docusign form. There's all your stuff that you could fill in if you didn't have something yet or whatever. Okay. All right. But now I'm going to add my Docusign forms for my disclosures so that I can have the fillability for my sellers, right? It's going to make me re-add working with real estate agents, and that's okay. But I'm going to pull in my property disclosure, my MOG, and my lead-based paint. And so you'll see these are my zip forms, my ZFX forms right here. And these are my Docusign forms that say form. And I actually do want to add one of the disclosures from my link transaction because I want you to see what I mean. So we'll add that in too. So same deal, you're going to take what you need to get signed. So I'm going to take my exclusive right to sell. I'm going to take my Docusign residential property disclosure and my Zipforms residential property disclosure. And you guys know how to fill the rest of the stuff out. I just want to show you this as an example. I'm going to hit the pen as per usual. Let that open up. We always rename our envelopes so that we know what we have. When we go back and need to look for something, right? We're going to add recipients from pre-tagged roles. Who is seller 1? Who is seller 2? Who is the listing agent? Right? Add selected. And we would write them a happy little note down here. Thanks for letting me list your home. and move forward. And I will show you what I mean here. So here is the residential property disclosure. This is the Docusign version where Dakota, who is the gold color, has the ability to answer all these questions. Sasha, who is the blue color, does not. So anytime that you're getting your form, your disclosure signed, seller 1 is responsible for answering the questions. All that seller 2 does is sign. So seller 2 is not going to see these fields available, right? They're not going to exist. So I'll scroll through so that you guys can see. Here's my exclusive right to sell, which was a zip form. All my text boxes are filled in and everybody is signing here. Good. I'm going to scroll down so that you can see the zip form version. And don't forget, page 10 of 12 of our listing agreement, the computer does not know if your buyer said dual agency was okay. I mean, your seller in this instance. We're going to highlight, make it required, highlight, make it required. Go ahead and delete the other fields. If you don't do that, it will skip over. And I can show you what I mean by that in just a second. And now we're down here to the end. Now here is the disclosure that brought in from Zipforms, right? It's got the places for them to sign and no boxes, right? So if you wanted them to fill this out, you would be having to go, okay, Dakota, checkbox, checkbox. Nobody wants to do that. So make sure that you use the Docusign version so that you have all those filled out. Anybody have any questions on that right now? You guys are awfully quiet. Is it helpful?
Yes, it's been very
Okay, good, good. All right, so I want to show you in the recipient preview that if I hadn't showed you before, I'm going to actually go back. Let's shut that and shut this. I'm going to open up this right to sell and go to page 10. I'm going to make these not required and show you why I tell you to do that. All right, so recipient preview. Don't forget you have this button. Right now we are viewing as seller 1, Dakota Perry. Okay. So this is what he sees when he opens your email. Okay. So if he clicks start, required, it skips him over these blanks because none of these are required because the system doesn't know what the answer is, right? So give your clients explicit instructions. It's going to take you down to sign page 2, but I need you to answer the questions on page 2, right? So what year was it built? You can practice in here. This is just a preview, but it actually does let you fill it in. No, there's not a problem. So you can explain it to them, right? I've had some agents that make a little video showing them doing this. Don't forget to fill these out, right? And then he's going to sign. He's going to fill this out and sign, but I wanted to show you guys. All right, now he's signing the listing agreement, and I did not make the dual agency part required. He's moving right along. He's a high D. It just skipped right over that, right? You saw it. Once it moved down to this next one, I couldn't even see that existed. He signed it. He signed it. And then he finishes, it sends back to you. It's missing that one spot, and your broker in charge is going to be like, they don't have a selection made on dual agency, and then you're going to have to send it back. We don't want to do that. So make whichever one it is, highlight required, highlight required, delete the other ones. You know, of course, if this was for designated agency, it would be different. I always try to get dual agency. I am lucky enough to work for the 2 top producing firms in the entire triad MLS, right? So I want to be able to sell my office's listings. and vice versa. I want my buyers to be able to buy my office's listings, right? So this is how it works. Again, Docusign has a huge rollout coming for Teams, and with the capability of templates in December. I will make sure to test it out thoroughly, just like I tested this out thoroughly before I chose to teach it to you guys, because I don't want to tell you to do something that's not going to work. But I've tried this over and over again. If you follow the steps, nothing deletes. You get to use your templates and everything fills in to hold us over, because it is October 15th, exactly 2 months away, right? So this will tide us over for 2 months. And then once I get my hands in the new Docusign platform, I will figure it all out and we'll teach again. Sound good?
Sounds good. Thank you, Monica.
Yay. Does anybody have any questions? Anything you want to see? No? Wow. All right. Good deal, y'all. Well, it was fun. Let me know if I can help you. This was recorded, so if you need it later, it'll be up on my YouTube channel. All right. Love you guys. Have a good rest of your day.